All right, welcome everybody. This is episode 3 of Coffee Break with
Episode
Zach
three.
and Chris. Yes, this is episode 3, and I'm psyched about this episode. First of all, we had a great week,
Yeah.
and now we want to talk about a topic that we talked about all weekend, and it's failing while you're young. Now, Chris, unpack that for me because we talked a lot about it, but tell our listeners, viewers, what do we mean by failing while you're young?
When we're young, it's the time to take risk. It's the time to go and explore, to throw yourself out at the world. I always told myself the way I saw it is I could literally go broke for the next 10, 15, 20 years. And I know no matter what happens, I'll have enough time to reach financial success. We're going to share. Look, today I want to go in actual stories, things that actually happened, moments in my life where I thought was, man, I had failed. I didn't succeed. I didn't get what I wanted. But at the end of the day, if it wasn't for those things, I would be nowhere near where I am today. So for me, it's something huge. I know if I'm in that comfort zone, I want you to talk about that because you had done that analogy with me there. But sometimes if you're just a little too comfortable, you get stuck in that complacent place. And I know for sure if I haven't had the failures that I've had in my life, I would be nowhere near where I am today. So what about you, Zach? What does it mean for you to fail while you're young? Is it the same thing?
Pretty much. I mean, the what you said earlier is, I mean, almost one of our themes here at not FG and Associates as much as FG Corporate, because
Yeah.
corporate is this new division that we're starting where in exit planning, business consulting, where there are zero, outside of me and you, zero exit planning advisors in Quebec. So it's not something that's known. Even the need isn't known for exit planning. So it's something very niche, very new that we're doing. So we're kind of taking a risk with that. And Chris, we've heard it already of people kind of telling us, just, you guys are doing great with the advice, like the financial services.
Yeah.
Why don't you just focus on that? Well, we can help as many people in all the different industries we want. And we love to work with business owners. So
Exactly.
that's one thing we're doing. And my answer, and you've heard me say it a bunch of times now, my answer to those people is always, listen, I'm turning 29 this week, you're 29, we could fail for another 10 years in this business and only figure it out in 2033, and we'll still have another 20, 25 years ahead of us to enjoy a profitable business.
Yeah.
So that, I think, is the mentality of failing while you're young, because right now you don't have that much to lose. And I think that most people wait too long before they actually take that leap of faith and give it a shot. And all you're doing there is you're setting yourself up for a midlife crisis. Because I think that most people, it's when they hit their 40s, 45. I don't think it's because they're thinking, oh, I had a horrible life. This my life started. It's that they had a comfortable job with a comfortable salary, and they like their house, and they have good people around them and all that, but they
Yeah.
never just went for it. And I
Yeah.
think that's what we're doing right now, is that we're just going for it full tilt. And if we fail, fine. But we were saying yesterday, I was saying, as, with every L, as long as I find a lesson within the L, then it's a
Exactly.
good L. Because as
Exactly.
soon as you take that L, you know what not to do next time in order to make it succeed. Or
Yep.
at least you know one more path that doesn't work. I was talking to someone who wants to start their side business, and they were talking about, working outside their 9 to 5 and all that, evenings and weekends. And what I told them is, that idea you have right now, try it right now, because right now you'll know. Let's just use someone who wants to try to do drop shipping. I'm not talking about this particular person, but let's give an example. Someone who wants to do drop shipping. Well,
Yep.
if you want to do drop shipping or any type of business, try it right now. Why? Because you're going to get your answers right away. If you start drop shipping and it's the best thing ever, great. If not, you might realize, hey, I don't like dealing with suppliers. I don't like dealing with clients. I'm not very tech savvy, so it's not good for me. Well, right there, you can scratch that off the list and move on. But if you don't do it today, 5 years from now, you're still going to be thinking, damn, you know what? Maybe I should try that drop shipping. So instead of wasting all that time, just try it, and either it works or it doesn't. And if you love it, really, you really love what you do,
The money will
those
come.
L's, those failures early, you won't mind because you're going to take them as lessons and progress. You're going to see failures as progress because now, all right, this way doesn't work. Let's try this one. Now there's only out of the 10, there's only 9 more ways I could see if this works or not.
Yeah.
So that's the
You,
main thing with me.
you said something very important that I caught from there too. It's doing what you love, Zach. I was reading an article this morning. I don't remember which news station it was on, but they were talking about the biggest regret people have on their deathbed.
Hmm.
And a lot, the ones that came up the most was regretting doing what they really wanted to do to please another person. So not living life on their terms. And we know how easy it is in life to just kind of be on this path that just it's bringing you these places where you kind of just following it because it's the way things are happening, but you're not creating it on your own. So it's going on that. I want to share with you two stories on my side. Then I want to hear some of yours, Zach. And two of them, look, I failed at so many things in my life, but I want to go in just two that are more in line with this type of work and what brought me into starting our own business. So, story number one. I had applied to a job to go work with an investment firm as far in part of their sales team, and I've gone through a couple interviews and whatnot, and went really far into the process. I think I had 3 or 4 meetings. I went all the way up to the district vice president and higher, and then from there, look, I didn't get the job, and I know for sure if I would have gotten that job, where I'm at today would have maybe taken another 5, 10 years. I would have been in that box. I would have most likely gone up. And I know I wouldn't be making anywhere near what I'm making today or helping as many people as I'm helping today. And what's funny is that same company is now running after me for my business and bringing me out to dinners. And like, it's
Yeah.
funny how the world kind of works. So that was one failure, but that was small. A bigger one. I was working at the bank. I've never told you this story. So I was working at the bank, and I had this opportunity. I won't name any names with a good advisor from Ottawa to go work with him with the goal one day to take over his book of business or whatnot. So that was a very tough decision because I'm there with my girlfriend at the time. Well, my wife now, but we're there. We're established in Montreal. I decided to leave a job where I was making more to go work as an assistant for this big advisor 2 hours away. So I'd go spend my weeks in Ottawa. Some days I'd go back and forth, come back on the weekends to go and have this opportunity. Turns out I'm not a good assistant, okay? It did not go well when it came to paperwork and all the organized. I'm just, it's not for me. I need to be with people. It was not working out. So I got fired. Okay.
I didn't know
So
that.
one, I've never been fired in my life. I've always excelled at what I did. It did not work out. So there I am, without a job. I knew I could always go back to the bank, but I always had my end goal after 2 years for a bank, I'd go and start my own business. For me, that opportunity was a way to, fast track that opportunity. So I went back. I looked at all the independent firms that I could join. I mean, you don't. So from that point, I decided, you know what? I'm going to go with the firm that we're attached today, which is SFL Investments. And the rest is history. But if it wasn't for that kick, and not only that, let's say this advisor had X under management after a whole career, I went and then as of today, I probably have 70% of what he's amassed over his whole career. So for me, that motivation, that drive, and you know what? I don't think I might not even be where I'm at today if it wasn't for that experience,
Hmm.
having gone through that. So I took that failure. I was down for a couple of days, but after that, you can't remain down. You have to go and get after it. And that's where brick by brick started building the business, growing the book, helping a lot of people, and that's where it is today. Now look where we're at right now. So it's not even it's those little things. You got to do it while you're young. Take those risks. Take pay cuts. Just throw yourself out there, And if you do what you love and you're passionate about it, you'll have success no matter what.
I like the concept that you're saying that you use that failure and today that's fuel.
Mm-hmm.
That actually drives you to push harder. Or like those days where you don't feel like it, I'm sure one of those two fears or these types of lessons come to mind when you don't feel like it and you're just,
Yeah.
damn, wait, am I that guy? Or have I moved past that? And have I evolved into this next step? So I'll give you one, and you know about this one. This was a summer of 2021. I quit my 9 to 5. And honestly, I always tell people when they tell me about possibly leaving their 9 to 5, I always tell them, don't do it like me. I did it. It was very impulsive. I just, the moment I knew I was done, I just quit. And ironically, my commission was just starting to boom at that point. And
Yep.
the day that the boss announced in front of everybody, hey, Zach, crushing it, blah, blah, I had no reaction. And he told me, he's like, when I saw your non reaction, I
Yeah.
knew something was up. And that afternoon, I told him that I was leaving.
Yeah.
So left my job and not ready to start a new business. I just had ideas, which is stupid when I think about it. It's incredibly stupid. So I quit and then I just started. First of all, I had a mortgage. So all my other expenses, I was putting myself in debt on a credit card.
Yeah.
Just goes to show this was pre-financial advisor era for me. And I wanted to be a business consultant.
Yep.
So I found a client from our mastermind group that we mentioned that we had during COVID. I had a client through there who's a good friend of ours today. And I had a contract, but these contracts aren't forever. There was just to
Mm.
fix one problem. We found a solution, we fixed it. And when that ended, I didn't have any other contracts lined up, didn't have any clients, I didn't know how to approach people. And what I realized is that my competition had certifications, they had all this experience, they had a much bigger background than me just working for a recruiting firm.
Right.
So and it just so happened the client had a recruiting problem, so it was easy for me to fix that issue, but I had no experience and I had nothing to kind of leverage to get more clients.
Right.
So in the grand scheme of things, I figured out one way that didn't work was to go in just kind of improvising. And then eventually, I've told this story before where you're the one who told me, Zach, you could become a business consultant or work with businesses through the angle of a financial advisor. Then I become a financial advisor, yada, yada, yada. FG and Associates is born. 1 year later, now we're about to incorporate FG Corporate, which is specifically for our business clients, business consulting, exit planning, value acceleration, all that. So, all that to say that I failed 2 years ago, and now we're taking another shot at it. But now we have a certification. I'm a certified exit planning advisor.
Yeah.
Now we have something that's very unique. We have something that nobody else has in Quebec, is that certification and that expertise in helping people maximize the value of a business before they sell it. So just an example of a failure that was just not me giving up on that goal, but just now, okay, this is one way where it doesn't work. I'm going to
Yeah.
try again, knowing what doesn't work. But one thing I want to talk about, and you mentioned to this at the beginning, you said that comfort zone, it's very
Yeah.
dangerous. And I want to go into a concept where it's called the region beta paradox. Sounds
Okay.
very fancy, and I'm not going to say it as well as where I first heard it. And if you really want to look into it, type in on YouTube Chris Williamson, Joe Rogan. He talks about the region beta paradox.
Okay.
And that's the concept of basically if you have to go a mile, you're probably going to walk. Not that far, you're going
Yeah.
to walk. If you have to go 2 miles, you're probably going to take your car, but you're going to end up going 2 miles faster than you'll go 1 mile.
100%.
Why I'm saying that, and the whole concept of the region beta paradox, is that sometimes situations aren't bad enough for you to take action. And that's the most dangerous zone you can be in. I'll give you the example of someone who is at a job right now. The money's all right. The people they work with are all right. The potential for the future is all right. So they're not going to switch jobs. And I'm sure you know some, Chris, that you see so much potential in them, but they're sticking
Of
with
course.
that job because everything is just all right.
They don't have that little ledge to bring them over the top.
Exactly. So the region beta paradox is saying that they'd be actually better off if their situation was a little bit worse, because that would be the extra nudge for them to decide, you know what? I deserve to do better than this. This is not, I'm not fulfilling my full potential here. So they'd be better off having a worse job, worse salary, worse colleagues, so that they could actually, it triggers them into action and saying, okay, let me find what I should really be doing. Let me send some resumes out.
Yeah,
So I am willing to put a lot of money on the fact that, I mean, look, there's probably what, 30 views that we're going to get off of this, but I don't care. Out of the, if there's only 30 views out of the 30 people who watch this, I am
yeah,
willing to bet that there's a lot of you right now who are in a job that is just not bad enough for you to take action. But if you really thought about it, you're not really doing what you really want to do. So take a moment, take a second, think about what you really want to do. And are you stuck in that region beta where it's just not bad enough for you to take action? And then think about yourself 10 years from now, 15, 20 years from now. Are you going to look back and say, I didn't have a bad life, but it's not the one that I wanted when I first got out of university or when I was a kid? So I don't know. That concept to me stuck so much. And now every time I'm in a situation, I'm always thinking, wait, am I in that middle ground where it's not enough for me to take action? And examples that Chris Williamson gives to Joe Rogan is even people who are in a relationship that it's
yeah,
not, they're not over the moon, but it's not a relationship that's bad enough for them to be like, you know what, I deserve better. So
exactly.
that comfort zone is so dangerous. And one thing that I don't remember where I heard this, but I heard it once and it always stuck to me. And I'm trying to live life through that is, I'm either going to be extremely wealthy or extremely broke. The middle for me is
There's no
prison.
middle. Yeah.
Exact. I prefer, and I've told my fiance this, and we've agreed that either our plans work and we live the life that we want with being able to buy whatever we want whenever we want, do trips or whatever, or we live with nothing where we move to an island and have a little snorkeling shop on the side of the beach and live off nothing. Me, it's one or the other, but the middle to me, it's that's prison. That's where you're really stuck. And I don't know, that's one thing. So all that to say that if you feel like that, if you relate to what we're talking about right now, fail while you're young. There's no point of waiting, because if you wait, whatever idea you have right now and you wait another 5 years, in 5 years you're still going to be thinking, should I try that after all? Should I give it a shot? Well, give it a shot right now and get your answer. Yes, no. And if it's whatever the answer is, you'll feel way better, because just staying in that kind of comfort zone, it's, I don't know, I think it's dangerous, and time is the only thing you can't replace. So that's the one thing that I don't waste any of it.
I'll add two final things to that that I think is very important. One is the fact that we're in an environment now that we can optimize time, and especially in this new side hustle environment, people can take advantage of the time they have. If they have a passion for it, go at it. If you're not wasting an hour in traffic anymore because you're working remotely, if you have time on the weekends that you're doing something you actually love, go for it. What I love about my work, Zach, and what we do is I love finance so much that I do not feel like I'm working. That's how you can put 12, 16-hour days and it not feel heavy. At the end of the week, you're happy, you're good, you enjoyed what you did. The second piece I want to give to people is it takes time. It's like anything. It's like your ice cube analogy. If you guys didn't listen to the last episode, go check back what Zach said about the ice cube, but you'll start seeing results. It's not immediate. It takes time, but it grows exponentially. Nothing is linear. It's like a ladder that breaks a couple of times. You go back down, but you're on the trajectory is going in the right direction. So if you do that and you're not afraid to fail, and if there's a little thing that makes you a little uncomfortable, a little nervous, you have those little butterflies in your stomach, it should tell you something.
Yeah.
Chase after that. Or maybe it's that client that's too big. Maybe it's going to your boss and, hey, boss, I've been here for 3 years. I want that promotion. Or if it's not now, tell me what I need to get that promotion. Go after. So feel those little butterflies, go after them, and go ahead and be ready to fail 100 times if it takes. But you know, if you're going in that right place and you're putting in the work, you'll have success.
And if you like it, you'll embrace that failure. You know, it doesn't feel as big. It sucks. Don't get me
Yeah,
wrong, it sucks every single time. Like if anybody listening is in sales, you get told no, it sucks. It's never fun.
yeah,
But if you can take a moment after to think about, okay, well, what's been my I had a great example with you. I told you I get these types of referrals and only 1 out of 10 I'll close. And then
yeah,
after that, I actually took the time. I was like, wait, is it because they're bad referrals? Or is it because I'm not taking them I'm not treating them the right way?
yeah.
And just the way I bring up the conversation, just the way I shifted the way I have the conversation with them. It's hard not to, because I can't give any details, but
Of course.
just the way I made a small switch now, back to back closing, because I failed multiple times. I had
Yeah,
had like maybe a 10% success rate. And after that, I thought, okay, well, is it because they're bad referrals or is it my approach? And then I rethought of my approach and now I adjusted it. So if it weren't for those 18 failures in the past,
you
I
wouldn't
would
be.
have never gone to the point where I would have taken the time and thought, what's my approach? What's wrong with my approach? Now I fixed that. And now we're back to back successful. And now it's the success ratio is a lot better now.
Yeah,
So again, what you learn from the failures, and at the end of the day, if you are in your 40s or 50s or whatever, one of my favorite sayings is the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is now. So if you're
100%.
listening to this and you're not in your 20s and you're hearing us talk about fail while you're young, well, if it should be fail now rather than 5-10 years from now. That's
Yeah.
what it should be called. I just know that we have a young
Hell no.
audience, so that's why we say that. And the last thing I'll say before we close out is, again, another thing, because with what we do, we've had more and more people kind of come up to us, and with the mastermind we had, talk about how they want to quit their job. And um, uh, one thing I tell people is to kind of test them. I say, this plan you have right now, are you willing to get paid pennies and fail for 3 years and still push through? And then the answer tells you a lot, because if you're willing to, when I say pennies, it's just like you're not going to be making what you were making before when you had the nine to
Right.
five. Of course, you have that stability. And to give an example, it took me 2 years to just catch up to what I was doing at my previous job. And
Yeah.
now next year we're expecting, we did our projections yesterday, so we're expecting to maybe even double that next year. But whatever. All that to say that if you're willing to sacrifice your income for 3 years and go through failure for 3 years, I don't care what industry, whether it's tech, drop shipping, consulting, in the service industry, whatever, if you're willing to sacrifice 3 years, you're golden. You're golden, you're golden, you're golden, as long as you learn from your failures. So think about it right now. Whatever age you're at, thinking about 3 years in the future, that business is working. Is it worth it? And if you think it's long, think about where you were 3 years ago. It
Yeah.
feels like that. So it's not
100%.
that long ago. While you're in it, it's long. But once you look back, you're like, damn, that flew by.
Yeah.
So
And
I
look,
don't
we
know. I'll
talked
leave you
about,
with some final words
oh,
before we
the
close
final
out.
words. We talked a lot about failure, but a couple little milestones this year just to give you guys an idea. Zach and I both passed our certified exit planning advisor certifications here in 2023 while working more than full time growing our FG&A business. Two, we both brought our new houses this year. We've got a lot of family life changes. Zach got engaged on my side. I'm getting, I have my son there who's turning 1 in a month. So there's a lot of things just going in the right direction. So we're working hard, and I hope you guys find some insight in what we want to share with you guys. And we're going to keep coming at it. So that's all I have to say, Zach.
Yes, sir. All right. So if you enjoy these podcasts, enjoy our clips, please like, subscribe, leave us comments, tell us what you want us to talk about, because it helps us tremendously and it actually helps us reach out to more people. The more people we reach out to, the more people that could get inspired, the more people that could leave that region beta that we talked about earlier, leave that comfort zone and get that extra edge to move forward. So again, like, comment, subscribe, or just spread the love, spread the education. Chris, have a great weekend, brother.
Take care,
And we
Zach.
will see you all next week.
Enjoy it. Cheers.